How's it going, everybody? Doing a Switch 2 Nintendo Direct. My thoughts on it, ramble, whatever you want to call it. I just did one of these for my other channel as well, but that was with Whispering Gumshoe. This one probably won't be as long either. I'll try to hit the points faster. I forgot they were doing this today, and they did it 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So I threw on my computer, and it was all over YouTube. So I popped in a couple minutes late, and then I just watched some more of it. I'm probably not going to hit on everything. They started off with a new Mario Kart World Tour. It looks really nice. Like, graphically, this system, real quickly, overall, a little underwhelming on the game side of it. The system itself looks cool. More of the Switch, but with better power and some new features. Get into that in a minute. The games were underwhelming to me, and I'll talk about that as well. Just this is an annoyance in general for video games these days for me. But this thing is now got a 7.9 inch screen, the handheld mode, as opposed to 6.2, which is nice. It goes up from 720p to 1080p. The new screen supports 120 hertz refresh rate and HDR, and this does like you're playing PS5 and it's like, quality mode, performance mode. This Switch 2 is doing the same thing. You can play it in your quality mode with, was it the performance? I forget whatever one. One does 120, one does 60, So you can, you do your different modes like on PS5. I assume Series X does this as well. So that's cool. Like, from a power standpoint, it's packing some heat for sure. I think it's a little more powerful, and they didn't have exact specs of like what it's doing on the inside. But from a power standpoint, it looks pretty impressive. I don't know if it's gonna be on the level of the PS5 or Series X, but it looks pretty impressive. Like, they were showing the Metroid Prime 4, and it looks nice. The Mario Kart looks nice. And my favorite game, I'll get into it. That one looks nice too. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. They start off with that, and then they were showing what you could do with these The Joy-Cons are a little bigger, which is nice. They are magnetic now, so they stick and they magnetize to the side of the system itself. It's got a dock that has a cooling fan in it now, so it's definitely, it's definitely a little more powerful than the last one. 256 gigabytes on the storage, I believe, instead of 32, and 256 doesn't seem like a lot, but for Nintendo, that is an insane amount. So it's beefing up in a lot of areas there. I don't know how big some of these games are going to be. I think they're going to be pretty sizable in some cases, so you still might need it. Micro SD cards it takes. There was a camera attachment. It's got, I think, 2 USB-C ports, it said. They showed a camera where you can use to, I guess, talk with people. You can use it in some of the games. Like, there's a new Mario Kart Switch 2 edition. Mario Party, Switch 2 edition. Mario Party Jamboree or whatever it's called. So I guess you can use some of this stuff with your face. I assume you can talk with your buddies through this and through the mic or whatever. They showed like the 2 Joy-Cons can now be used as has mouse functionality. So you could use like a mouse pad, not a mouse pad, a mouse on your laptop or your PC or whatever, which is kind of cool. They showed them using it. It was like a game where the people were like in kind of wheelchairs, and you had I guess you roll in the thing so you can go like this, using the motion controls and stuff. Looked kind of interesting. A new civilization, not a new, maybe it's still the same civilization they're releasing a Switch 2. Is it Civ 8? Is that one out yet? They already put that one out? I don't know. But that, a lot of people are like, that's nice. So the mouse functionality, that could be the best way to play this game outside of a PC now. Using that, so it has some different functionality there, which is cool. They showed another showcase game where they were doing mini golf type stuff and things like that with it. But that game is going to actually cost money, which is weird because typically Nintendo packs this kind of shit in, like Nintendo Land or Wii Sports. So now they're just like, no, give us your money. Let's see. LCD panel tech with HDR and 120 refresh rate. New dock has the 4K output and cooling fan. Chassis is larger but no thicker. Detachable controllers now have mouse functionality. USB-C ports. New clip-on camera. Blah, blah, blah. No official details of the CPU and the GPU. But it's definitely more powerful. I don't think it's going to be on the level of a PS5 or whatever, but a lot of this is where the games got me a little bit. Right at the gate, like after the Mario Kart, they're showing off the controller game features. This is how you use the new controller, the camera, and all that stuff. they move into like, here's the two Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, the Switch 2 versions. I was like, and the people, for some reason I watched the IGN one, it's the first one popped up, and they were like creaming their jeans over getting Zeldas again. Like, come on, man. And then there was like Kirby and the Forgotten Land, awesome, maybe some new crap too. And it looks better graphically. Like, if everybody continues to get excited over them re-releasing games for newer systems or remastered versions, these companies are going to continue to do it, and you're going to get no innovation in games anymore. It's like, just stop creaming your pants over this stuff. It's ridiculous. Don't do it, because they're going to continue to pump it out. And you can pay like this. The PS4 games, though, most of them outside of Ghost of Tsushima said, and I have not thrown them into PS5 yet, but it said you have to, only Ghost of Tsushima said you got to pay a small fee to upgrade it. The other one said free upgrade. Of course, the Nintendo Switch ones are not free upgrades. None of them are. And they were joking like it's going to probably be $40. It'll probably be at least 20. Knowing Nintendo, it'll be at least 20. The system is coming out at $450. They did not announce the price during the Nintendo Direct. It came out after. $450 and $500 for it bundled with the Mario Kart game. $450 is a little pricey in my opinion. I thought, a lot of people thought it was going to be $400. They put it in that range, so it's still a little bit cheaper than PS5 and Xbox, but if it's not popping the same power, although you can use it in a handheld, so you can always, I think it's a little high of a price. For what you're getting, probably not. I'm not getting it day one anyway. It comes out June 5th of this year. I'm not getting it day one. I probably won't get it for 2-3 years after. So that doesn't bother me at all. By the time I get it, maybe I get it at a deal. Maybe it's dropped $50, $100. Who knows? But it's pricey, mainly because Nintendo typically comes in quite lower than the other systems, at least $100 lower. Switch was, I guess, $300 right when it came out. I don't know, but I mean, if they're packing a serious GPU in there and stuff like that, CPU and all that stuff, you'd have to bump it up a little bit. And look, it's a more powerful system. It's got better, the screens look better and everything else. Your dock has a cooling fan. There's more money to have to be spent on these things. So yeah, June 5th. Oh yeah, they showed in terms of like games, there's a lot of third-party stuff coming. Like, Cyberpunk's coming. Star Wars Outlaws is coming. There's a new game by the people that did Bloodborne and, was it Elden Ring, all that stuff. Did they do Elden Ring too, the Dark Souls games from Software? Called Dusk Bloods. They thought it was a new Bloodborne, but it's Dusk Bloods, which it looks like the other one, I guess. I don't have any interest in it. It looked kind of cool. So that's only for the Switch. It's Switch 2 as well. And then they showed Kirby Air Riders very briefly. The first one was on the GameCube, I believe. And then they showed, for me, the best game that they showed was Donkey Kong Bonanza, which looks really cool. It looks more like, I guess, Donkey Kong 64. It's kind of open world action. Looks kind of cool, actually. It looks really nice. The gameplay looks fun from what they showed. I believe that comes out at the end of July of this year. So that's kind of cool. Like I said, the Metroid game, I assume, is launching on both the Switch and the Switch 2 at the same time. And it looks really nice. This is the one where they showed the performance and the quality mode. Graphically looks great. The Donkey Kong game graphically looks great. Mario Kart graphically looked great. The Air Riders was just, it looked like it was just a cutscene, a quick cut. It did not look like in-game footage of anything. A lot of indie stuff coming out. Hades 2, stuff like that, coming as well. But I like the Kirby and the Forgotten Land, the Switch edition, the two Zeldas, Hyrule Warriors, a new Hyrule Warriors, which is a prequel. They said the Tears of the Kingdom is coming out, being made by Koei Tecmo and Nintendo. So that looks cool. I don't know when that said that came out. Maybe the fall. No, maybe, I don't know. I think Dusk Blood said 2026. So you're getting stuff there. But I don't know, man. Like, the games for me just were underwhelming. Like I said, I'm not getting this thing day one, so it doesn't matter, right? By the time I get it, there'll be a lot more games out. But I don't know, I don't even know what's coming out at launch. The Donkey Kong would be launch window. Let's say something else up their sleeve. There's going to be a lot of remasters coming out at launch. Like, here's your Tears of the Kingdom Switch version. Here's this Pokemon game, Switch 2 version. That to me annoys me. Because that allows developers to get lazy and be like, well, these idiots are just going to want the same remaster every 5 years. Let's give it to them. We're not going to make anything fresh. I mean, Nintendo will make the fresh stuff anyway. I think they're better than that, better at that than the other two, Sony and Microsoft at this point. But you'd like to see this thing specs and the GPU, CPU compared to like the Steam Deck, whatever the latest Steam Deck is. And that doesn't matter in a way because Nintendo thrives on their art style and their first party stuff. That's the thing. That's what you're getting with Nintendo. For me personally, like the people on IGN, the one guy at the end was like, "This is the great." Like he's like, "This is incredible." Like this is the most exciting. Which I'm not gonna tell you how to think. That's an asshole move, right? But I was like, "Where's this excitement coming from?" Like I didn't see anything there that I was like, "Oh my god, yes, this is pushing everything forward." I'm so excited for a game. They just won the year. I didn't get that, but hey, right? You're going to feel how you're going to feel. But to me, I was like, I mean, they were getting excited for like, I can play Zelda again. I can't wait. Like, come on, man. You say that and the company's like, yep, we got them. Just released Tears of the Kingdom in 25 again. Release it again in 27 as well. And they'll buy it again. It's like, it's going to be Skyrim and GTA 5 all over. They release it over 10 console generations. But, from a hardware standpoint, it looks infinitely better than the Switch graphically. So that's cool. And some of these cool. And the Joy-Cons are a little bit bigger, which is nice. Obviously, the screen's a little bit bigger. You can use them as a mouse functionality. That's kind of cool. You got the camera. I'm not too interested in that. They did the game share thing. I forget what that was all about. I think they talked about like when you could have virtual game cards too, which you can like use. I guess if people are on your friends list or they're like in your tight group, I don't know, you can borrow them out. I think Game Share might have been between the systems, which I don't know. I'm probably missing some things here. But, I'd probably give this thing overall probably like a 6 out of 10 overall. On the hardware side of it, I was like, 8, 9, definitely looks nice. The games to me were like a 5. I was like, here comes a bunch of stuff that's already been out. I know you got to show that stuff anyway, indie stuff. But me, I want to see Nintendo. I mean, they showed you a new Air Riders Kirby game briefly. I have no real interest in that. The Donkey Kong looks great. The Mario Kart World Tour, I think it's World Tour, looks great graphically. And it looks like it's more open too, where you can just ride all over the place and stuff. Open worldy as well on that front. But it's not, I don't know, it's not, I'm not super into Mario Kart since Mario Kart 64, honestly. So, but it looks cool. Donkey Kong's the one though for me. That would be the game of the Nintendo Direct that I was excited for. And I'm sure you'll see a new Mario pop up at some point, and whoever else. Well, you won't see a new Zelda. Did I mention the Switch Online is also doing? I don't think I mentioned this. The Switch Online is doing GameCube now for the Switch too. You're going to be able to get the GameCube games on there. They're making a GameCube controller wireless. It doesn't look exactly like... It looks like the regular GameCube controller, not the Wavebird. So that will disappear off Nintendo's shop in 5 seconds. But that's cool that they're doing that. GameCube games in there. They showed like F-Zero, Wind Waker, Fire Emblem. Which, hey... a year's worth of Nintendo Online, I don't know what it's going for these days. It's probably cheaper than just buying a copy of Fire Emblem for the GameCube. And F-Zero is expensive too. So that's cool that they're adding that. Anything else? I think it's for me in general, I don't get overly excited for this stuff anymore. It's not like it used to be when, oh my god, look at this for PS2 and GameCube, Xbox 360, PS3 looks great. I think I lost interest in that when the Xbox One and PS4 came about. Like when they show these things, I'm just like, all right. But now I feel like it's getting even worse because you're not seeing like the great games and stuff. It's just like a couple of games, a lot of rehashes on old games, remasters and stuff. Hades 2 looked cool. That was one of the indie titles, and that it was funny seeing Greg Kasavin, who works for, I forget the name of the company, seeing his face, because I remember seeing him all the time when he worked for GameSpot back in the day. He hasn't probably worked at GameSpot since, before 2010, probably, maybe not, maybe, yeah, I think it's even, wow. So there was some cool stuff on the indie front. I can't remember all of it. There was one that people were excited for, Silk something. So you're getting all that stuff as well, which is cool. I think when it comes to Nintendo, though, I mean, they gave you 3. I'm not Hyrule Warriors as well, but it's not like, I don't know. For me, it's like I want to just be like, and that's, it's my own personal thing, so I can't lose my cool over in that perspective, right? Everybody's gonna have their own opinion on it and what they like. They like, oh, this is good enough for me, I just want to see Nintendo. It's like you want to see a new Mario, you want to see possibly a new Zelda, and I guess you kind of got one, the Zelda spin-off with the Hyrule Warriors. It's not a traditional Zelda game. What was it called? Like the Imprisonment War or some shit? I don't know. It's a prequel to the Tears of the Kingdom or some shit. I mean, yeah, overall, they did show a decent amount if you think about it, but you expect them to just be like, boom, boom, boom. Instead, it's like they do a bunch of like, here's some remaster type shit you're getting. Yakuza and stuff, and stuff like that is all coming. Like, great, dude, like, awesome. It's been on 5 different systems already. Like, come on, like, I don't know. To me, when you continue to get excited for this stuff, that just tells the companies that, oh, great, this is what they want. They want to play the same game over 15 years on 10 different systems. Like, that's what they want. But whatever. Anyway, that is just my impressions. I think the system itself, looks cool. I will eventually get one, don't get me wrong. But it ain't going to be at launch. It wouldn't have been at launch anyway. I don't get systems at launch anymore. I haven't since the Nintendo GameCube. The 360 I got like 5 or 6 months after release. The PS3 was like a year after release, a little more. Xbox One was 3 years after. The Switch was 3 years after. I even think the Wii U was like 2 years after it came out. PS5 was 3 years after. So I'm not getting these systems at launch. I'm waiting at least 2 years before I get the Switch 2. Let the library build up and then go from there. I'm hoping some Switch games drop in price. Yeah, right. They'll somehow get more expensive. But yeah, this is just my impressions on that and my ramble thoughts on the new Switch 2. I think as a system, it looks cool. They've added new features. The screen's bigger. Graphically, it looks a lot better. The Joy-Cons are bigger, which is nice because those things they use, like, unless you put them in like a little thing, like we have these things you put them in with the grips, but like I would sometimes just use it on its own. It's very small. It's easier to use it when you're using it, like when it's this way and you're using it like an NES controller, we'll say. It's too small, but when you're holding them in your hand, like each of them like this, it's fine. But these ones are a little bigger. I like that. They're kind of like that. They're magnetized. That's kind of cool. And some of the mouse functionality is cool. They're doing some things with that too and stuff. And so on the system side, I'm like, yeah, definitely. They've listened to a lot of people's gripes about the first Switch and they've fixed things and stuff, made things better, which is good. On the game, I was a little underwhelmed on the games. You know why? Because when you get a new system coming out, you want to see like a plethora of fresh stuff, even if it's not coming out for a year or two. Get it like 10 new. It was instead of like it being Mario Kart, Kirby Air Riders briefly, the Donkey Kong one was longer. The Dusk Bloods and it was a Hyrule Warriors, and then that little other game that was kind of like a showcase for the system, its capabilities or whatever. I would have wanted like another 5 games. Just even show me another trailer, brief trailer. It doesn't have to be gameplay, just to get you excited, But yeah, overall, system looks cool. The games will come. Nintendo always pumps out their games. It's funny, I was saying on the other video how, did I mention this in this one real quickly? I'll end it on this. How it's Nintendo's art style is like a positive and a negative for them in that you'll play stuff from the GameCube and be like, damn, this still looks really good because the art style is nice, like a Wind Waker and stuff like that, or Zelda, maybe Mario Sunshine, like graphically, the game, like Pikmin and stuff, like graphically, the art style makes it hold up over time. But the thing is, you see the new games come out, and you can't really. It looks gorgeous, but you can't still like realize the true power of it because the art style. When the new games come out, you're like, well, shit, it still looks great back then. So I'm not as impressed as I would be as if it was a GTA or a Last of Us, where it's more lifelike and real looking. So it looks graphically better and it's so noticeable. This, again, it looks better, but you're not getting, I feel like, the full scope because the art style just holds up even in the past, where the old art style still looks good. And you're like, oh shit, it looks better, but it's like, well, fuck, man. I don't know. It's hard to describe. But anyway. I'll end on that. But yeah, I'll give it overall like a 6 out of 10 for this Nintendo Direct. It was the system itself, which was the main part, look great, but in terms of like games, pumping out the games and stuff, in my opinion, I was a little underwhelmed. But yeah, thanks for checking this out, and have a good day.